What does Chinese food on Christmas and audio description on TV and movies have in common? I'll let you know. Stick with me.
From Studio B in Swarthmore, this is iCantCU. Now, here's David.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of iCantCU, your window into a world where blindness doesn't dictate ability. My name is David Benj on all the socials. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's after January 7th, but as my glasses say, Happy New Year to you. I hope it's a great year for you. I'm going to take these glasses off now and put them in my top drawer, and I'm telling you so you can remind me next December so that I can use them again next year for both these videos here on iCantCU as well as over on the NFB of Pennsylvania channel. If you don't know about that, there's a link down below. I do a video each week on the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania's channel talking about what's coming up in the affiliate, the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania, both meetings and fundraisers and things like that. So go have a look there if you're interested in that, or if you have any questions about joining the NFB of PA. I do want to put on the regular glasses, the sunglasses, because I've got these lights here that just kill me. Thank you again for joining me. And I will get to the Chinese food audio description comparison in a minute. But like most folks, the holidays are super busy for us too. And it really stems from everything that is going on with us. We have Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year, and then both kids' birthdays are in early January, the 2nd for Jane, the 7th for Jacob, now known as Artemis. So it's a very busy time. So they usually kick off with Hanukkah. This year, I lit the first 7 nights of the menorah. When I say lit, if you're listening, we have a cloth menorah that we bought probably about 30 years ago. Jacob just turned 32. I kind of think we had it for his first or second, by the time he was 1 or 2. And it is this, it's got a rope and you hang it on a door or a wall. And the menorah has these cylindrical stuffed candles. They are they almost are like finger length, and they have Velcro on one end. And there are also Velcro flames. So you have to take the Velcro flame and attach it to the Velcro on the candle, and then you put it in. With Hanukkah, you light one candle, and then from that candle, you light all the others. So each night, there is the main candle that lights all the others, plus whatever night it is. So if it's the first night, the main candle, and then one other candle. And then by the 8th night, it's the main candle and 8 other candles. So I did the first 7. As you'll see here, Jane did the last night. So I did the first 7 nights. Jane is now home and can do the last night. Do it. Watch your fingers. Don't burn yourself. Are you okay? Did you burn yourself?
It won't fit. Doesn't look kosher.
And that's the right terminology to use. She didn't burn her finger, so she is okay. But it's a very busy time. So it starts with Hanukkah. Jane comes home. She spends the last couple of weeks of the year here with us. Ziggy got a present on the first night of Hanukkah. He also got a present. That is here. It's from Jane's friends, Tiffany and Josh. It is a little pickle that he absolutely loves. It's got 2 squeakers that sound differently, one down each end, and he loves playing with that one. Christmas Day, he also got another Christmas pickle, which he loves in a different way because that one he really roughs up. He thrashes it around. With the smaller one that Tiffany and Josh gave him, he just kind of chews on that and makes the squeakers go off and things like that, and we throw it around a little bit. The other one, though, he's really rough with it. Liz has already sewed it up once. And again, today is the 10th of January as I record this, so I don't expect it to last much past March. Ziggy is waiting for his Christmas gift, and I guess he sees it with Liz at the top of the stairs. What is it, buddy?
It's a Christmas pickle! Yay!
The other one hopefully will last because that one hasn't sprung any holes yet. And he's not quite as rough. He just chews on that one. He doesn't thrash it around. So it's a very busy time. And Christmas dinner, back when the kids were little, we used to do 2 meals on Christmas Day. Liz is Catholic. I'm Jewish. We used to do 2 meals on Christmas Day, the traditional Christmas breakfast where we had so much to eat. And all of our parents would come over and Liz's sisters and whatnot. They'd come over, we'd eat breakfast, we'd give the gifts, and the kids would do all that stuff. Then they would go home and come back a few hours later. And those few hours later, in that time, we've cleaned up from Christmas, breakfast, taken a nap, and then Liz starts preparing Christmas dinner. That didn't last very many years. I don't remember when we started, but Liz made this call. We then went to Chinese food Christmas dinner, which is outstanding. And I'll do the comparison in a second. As you'll see as I'm talking, besides the video of Ziggy getting the pickle, there's some other gifts that you'll see, and there's pictures running if you're watching on YouTube. One of the things that we started doing last year, we have gone to Sur La Table in the King of Prussia Mall to do some sort of baking. Liz loves baking, as everybody around here knows. So everybody can't wait for her to bake stuff, cookies, cakes. I don't know if she's done too many pies, but those sorts of things. Last year we did French macarons, which I've learned to love once. I don't say learned to love. I experienced them for the first time when Jane did French exchange, and Anne, her exchange student, had come here, and that was her gift to us. And they were awesome. I love those. And now every time just about I go to New York, the place that we go either on West Broadway or they have a little stand inside Moynihan Train Hall, I usually get 1 or 2 just as a little treat. We usually don't buy that many anymore, but it used to be, because we didn't go up as often, we would usually get maybe 6 to a dozen. Now just a couple, just as a little, oh yeah, that's good. I love that. And they are delicious. So if you're in Moynihan Train Hall, look for the kiosk where they sell them. My favorite is passion fruit, but throughout the year they have seasonal ones that are also awesome. But last year we made them. They weren't as good as the ones that we get from the place in New York, but it was fun to learn how to make those. And this year, Liz found one where we baked some sort of cookie. I don't remember. Oh, they were coconut macaroon. So very different. They are spelled the same, but they are very different. I don't like these as much, although the ones we made were pretty good. I have to say I was surprised that I liked them. But we also did cookie decorating. And I was really excited for this because it's a very creative thing, and I like doing creative things. But I also don't like doing things that look like, a blind person did them, or worse, which these were in my vision, it looked like a 2-year-old did them. It was difficult for me. We decorated gingerbread men and Christmas trees, and there were sugar cookie snowflakes and also Christmas trees, I think. Tiffany ended up going with us. We bought 4 spots because last year when we did it, we had a random stranger with us at our table, and some of that person's ideas did not align with Liz and Jane. I didn't really care, but they didn't align with what Liz and Jane wanted to do. So this year we bought 4, expecting that it would just be the 3 of us, but Jane was telling Tiffany about it, and Tiffany said, "Oh, I'll go." And so she came, and she did a great job decorating them. Jane did a good job decorating them. Liz did a good job decorating them. Me, not so much. And I was kind of embarrassed by it. For example, I did a Christmas tree, and again, because it's difficult for me to figure out where everything is and whatnot, I figured I'm just going to do a squiggly to color in the Christmas tree. I grabbed the green and I just did the squiggly with the piping bag. And after I did it, I'd only done half the tree. I thought I was at the edge. I didn't feel for it because I was holding the bag, squeezing down the one end and holding the other end so I could guide it, because I couldn't guide it when I was trying to squeeze and move it. And so I was disappointed in it. I was disappointed with most of the most of the things that I did that day. And honestly, they look terrible. And there's some images here. I don't know if the ones I did are in them. The ones that look bad, they're mine. If you see them in the images, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, you'll be able to pick out the ones that I did. But it was fun to do. It was fun to get together with Jane's friend Tiffany, who also listens. Hello, Tiffany, and thank you for joining us that day. We were glad you could make it, and the money did not go to waste. But again, my main thing is to don't make it look like somebody who can't see did this, because that's what people expect. And I know a lot of folks would give me a pass, but I don't want that pass, because if it looks terrible, it's terrible. It doesn't matter who did it. If it's a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or whatever, okay, same thing. You expect it and they don't care, and you're going to tell them how great it looks and everything else. I don't want to hear that, because mine looked terrible. And but again, fun though, and we had we had plenty of cookies to eat both on the way home, and we ended up giving some to Jacob, again now known as Artemis, and I just cannot, for whatever reason, I just call him Jacob. It's I've mentioned it before. He did legally change his name, and we try hard when he's around to call him Artemis, but doesn't always work out. But when we are talking about him, because we knew him for the first 27 years of his life, or 28 years of his life as Jacob, the fact that I still remember that's his name, I think I should get some points for that. Sometimes we call Jane Ziggy and vice versa. So that was a lot of fun. That we actually did that on Christmas Eve and had a lot of fun. On Christmas Day, we did the breakfast like we normally do. Now, it was just Liz, Jane, and I for breakfast, and Ziggy, of course. Ziggy did not eat anything, as far as I know. Sometimes he, like dogs, and especially him, so motivated by food, sometimes he will try to nudge his way in or grab something out of one of our hands. Again, 5 years old, he shouldn't be doing that. That's on us, and probably mostly on me. Christmas breakfast, delicious. It was awesome. And Christmas dinner, Jacob was going to come over and we were going to get Chinese food. Here was the problem. And here is why I'm comparing the two. Now, audio description is not quite there yet, but Liz called in our order at roughly 4:15, 4:20, knowing that there was going to be a long wait. They told her an hour and 45 minutes. 1 hour, 45 minutes. Okay, no problem. We were expecting it. We didn't want to eat at 4:15 or 4:30 or even 5 o'clock, because we're not 90. We typically eat between 6 and 7 o'clock, usually closer to 7. So we were good with that. At around 5:30, Liz and Jane went to go and get the food. When did they get back from getting the food? At about 7:15. Now, I don't know about you. The Jewish population of the U.S. is about 1.2% of the entire population. So there had to be more than Jewish people in that Chinese restaurant. And some people eat in at the restaurant, and some, like us, take it away. And we've always taken it away. We've never eaten there. So my point is this. When folks figure whether they are religious or not, and I don't know what the breakdown is. I don't know if people that normally used to have turkey on Christmas or ham, if they say, you know what, I don't feel like cooking, the kids are out of the house, and let's just go get Chinese food, because that's really the only thing open. And we checked this year. Jane checked because of how long it took. And I was worried the food wasn't going to be great, but the food was good. We go to a place called Margaret Quo's. It's out in downtown Media, but out by Riddle Memorial Hospital. And it was good, but we looked at other places. Now, we did find out that Bertucci's was open. That doesn't really scream Christmas to me. It's not it's not Christmassy enough to be a Christmas dinner, but it's not Jewish enough to be a Jewish Christmas dinner. So we'll see what we do next year. We've kept it in mind on what is going on. Now, I did have one friend who ordered on Christmas Eve for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which is probably a pretty good idea because not as busy on Christmas Eve. You can get your stuff and then just reheat everything. I mean, I only get fried rice, and I think Liz and Jane shared some sort of chicken and broccoli. I don't know what Jacob got, and Ziggy, of course, got nothing. And we got some egg rolls. I don't know that the egg rolls will hold up overnight, but the other stuff probably would. So the timing and how many people were in there, and I've said this often, that making things accessible, like audio description, makes movies and TV shows accessible. Makes it easy for everyone to enjoy whatever the show is. Now, how does it make it for folks who are sighted enjoy it when they can just sit and watch it? They can't sit and watch it when they're driving in the car. They can't sit and watch it if they're doing something at the gym where there might not be a TV available to watch something. And that's where folks can use it. I remember getting into a ride share one point, coming back from 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, coming home from somewhere. And the driver was telling me, I don't know if I got a text message or an email or something, and I pulled my phone out and I was listening to it, and he said, "Oh, yeah, isn't that great that you can do that?" I said, "Yeah, I wouldn't be able to use the phone otherwise." And he said, I was in the Apple store, and there was a guy in there that worked there that was showing somebody else how he could listen to his emails and anything that was on the screen. And he had this beautiful dog. And I said to him, "Oh, you were at the Willow Grove Apple store." He's like, "How did you know that?" I said, "Because that guy, his name is Warren Knight, that guy is the reason I'm in the National Federation of the Blind. He called me back in 2014 and told me about the NFB and said, 'Hey, why don't you come to a meeting?' And I came to the meeting January 2015. That was my first meeting. And so he set up his phone so he could do it while he's driving, because he's driving all day long. It's hard for him to answer a text or an email or whatever. So he does that and also has it now for his directions. So it all works out. And just like that, for that guy, movies and TV, there are sites out there that have MP3s of movies that have the audio description. Sometimes it's the audio description for the movies when they're released in this country. Sometimes it might be British audio description, whatever. To me, it doesn't matter. I even am okay with the text-to-speech audio description where a script is done and they just feed it in. There was a TV show that I used to love that had the text-to-speech, and it wasn't great, but otherwise I wouldn't have been able to watch it because a lot of action and things like that. So to me, that is something that as more folks hear an audio described event, whether it's a play or a movie or a TV show, it will become the same as all those people at the Chinese restaurant on Christmas Day for dinner. And again, I don't know of all the people that were in there. I'm sure there's other folks that don't celebrate Christmas who were in there or picking up. But it was packed, obviously, because we waited roughly 2.5 hours to get our food from the time we ordered. Almost double the amount of time that they said it would be. And then the driving time, and maybe it was a little more than that. But the combination of those two things it just made us think of what we're going to do next year because of how busy it was. Because it's only going to get busier. More people are going to say, "Oh, what'd you do for Christmas dinner?" "Oh, we went to Margaret Quo's." "No, don't go there. You go other nights. Leave it for us so we can go and not have to an incredibly long wait and then eat dinner 3 hours after we ordered." But now I would love audio description and other accessibility things to become more mainstream, because then more folks will do it. Not all TV shows have audio description, which is very frustrating to me. It's also frustrating to me when Liz Jane and I are watching something and we don't have audio description on because they don't like it. And they tell me what's going on, which is fine, but sometimes they're eating something or sometimes they fall asleep, whatever it might be. The more things that have audio description, the more that I can enjoy and other blind folks can enjoy. There's been some commercials lately that have just been music and I think words on the screen. I think there were words on the screen, and they never have any kind of voiceover. It doesn't say Nike or Toyota, whatever it might be. And so I sit there wondering, oh, I wonder what that was for. And sometimes it might be movie clips, like a movie trailer, where it just says in theaters December 15th. Well, it sounded good. I'd love to wonder what that show was called, so I can look for it when it comes out on video. Not that we'll go to the video store, but you know what I mean, when it comes out on either streaming or whatever the case may be. And I guess it's all streaming now, right? So I'm hopeful that as we keep moving forward, just about every TV show and movie has closed captioning on there. I've been to meetings for the Pennsylvania Rehab Council where they've had meetings where there's no Braille agenda, but they have the captioning up on a screen next to the video screen for the folks who are speaking, and it's real-time captioning. Senator Fetterman told us when we met with him a couple of years ago that he uses an app on his phone when he is meeting with people or when he's in the Senate and he wants to know what's happening. For him, it was easier to read. He can hear, but whatever happened when he had his stroke has made it more difficult for him to understand what he's hearing. But when he reads it, he gets it. So there's plenty of that. But audio description is not near 100% yet. The streaming channels like Amazon Prime and Netflix are great. They usually always have it. But not a lot of TV shows. The TV shows sometimes when they are on a streaming service like Paramount Plus or Peacock may have it, but a lot of times it's not on when it's on NBC or CBS. And if it is, sometimes the audio is terrible, where all of the audio comes out maybe part of one speaker. So it's difficult to follow. And not all audio description is great either. Sometimes the audio description is so overpowering that it takes away from the dialogue and the sound effects and the music and whatnot. So it's almost like you have the sound turned down and somebody's just telling you what's going on. And that I don't like, because there was a movie, I think it was called Day of the Jackal or The Jackal, that I think was on Amazon. And I think it was an English show. I couldn't keep watching it. I watched a couple of episodes and it was just the audio was too off that I just couldn't do it. But that's the point, that as long as they have it, if they continue to make it better, again, whether it's a human being telling me what's happening or some text to speech, the AI voices are getting almost as close to human as needed to make it sound like you're not listening to a bot saying. So fingers are crossed that audio description and other accessibility features in wherever it might be, an elevator that just dings when it goes to different floors instead of saying fourth floor, third floor. I don't know what floor it is. And if the door opens and it's just dinging, I have to put my hand out, and usually at about 4 or 5 feet up on the right side, there's usually a number both in Braille and embossed that tells you what floor it is. And then if it's the floor I want to get out. If it's a great place and the elevator tells you the number, even better. But it'd be great if all elevators did that. Same thing with bus and trolley and trains if they announce where it is. Because again, it's, sometimes I have to take a picture if I'm on a train and it's not saying anything. When we leave a station, I take a picture and I know somewhere along there's a sign. Hopefully, when I take a picture, it is. Otherwise, if there's somebody near me, I ask them, hey, what stop was that? So the more accessible things are, the easier it becomes for us. And now with the different meta glasses and things like that, that also helps. So that is what I have for the first episode of 2026. My goal is to do more, but I got a lot of things going on, a lot of plates in the air, as they say. And I'm hoping to do more each month. I've got travel coming up in the coming week. I'll be traveling to Orlando for PodFest from the 14th to the 18th. The 19th, I'll be in Philadelphia for a Martin Luther King Day event at Temple University for the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. The end of the month, I'll be in Washington, D.C. for something called Washington Seminar, where we visit our representatives and senators in Congress and talk about items that we want to advocate for. There's 3 items, and I'm looking forward to that because he's been in a year now. Senator McCormick does something every Wednesday where he meets constituents in one of the big rooms at one of the Senate office buildings. And I got to meet him last year and talk to him for a minute or two. And there's some pictures up. I will put one of the images as I'm speaking about it of me and him talking. And then there's one of all of us that was the contingent that went to Washington last year. So that's still happening. Hoping we get to meet Senator Fetterman again. Last time we got lucky a couple of years ago, he was actually coming back into his office. We didn't have a specific appointment. We were just hoping to meet with somebody on staff, and he came down the hall as we just started to meet with one of the staff members. So we got to speak to him for a few minutes and got to take a picture with the senator. That's usually on Wednesdays. Tuesdays, when we meet on the House side, we go to the different reps. There's a bunch of us that go, so everyone doesn't go to every rep's office. And most times, and I think they're in recess that week, so I don't even think the reps will be there. So we'll be meeting with different staff members. Sometimes it's as much as their legislative director. Sometimes it's a kid that just graduated from college within the last year, and it's their first job. And it's surprising sometimes when we talk to somebody like that. A couple of years ago, we spoke to someone who was shocked at some of the things that we were trying to fight for. In February, going to Harrisburg, speaking of fighting, on the 9th for a court hearing for a couple of NFB members, husband and wife, who lost their children because the husband is blind. It is just unbelievable. This has been going on for about 4 or 5 months. I think it was in September, might have been October, but in that time frame where the kids were taken away. So we'll be going to that court case the day after the Super Bowl. And then later in February, going to Las Vegas to an event for Think Media. I was in Vegas a few years ago for an event there. This is a mastermind that I'm really looking forward to. Jane is actually going to go. I don't know if we're going to fly out together, if she's going to fly from New York and me from Philadelphia. She's having some work done at her apartment, so she's got to figure out if she'll be able to be in the apartment for a lot of the time. She won't be for at least a couple of weeks. She has one bathroom, and that's where all the work is going to be done. There were some issues, and she weighed the costs and decided, if I'm doing all this other work, I might as well just redo the bathroom while I'm doing it. The difference was maybe $4,000 or $5,000 from $13,000 up to, and it could probably stretch and probably will stretch to about $20,000. But it needed, the things that needed to be done really needed to be done. So 13 was going to be spent no matter what. And there's been some damage from the apartment above her. So that's got to get taken care of. Unfortunately, it's not enough cost-wise to go after insurance. It's below her deductible. So a lot of things coming up. So I'm hoping that once I get back from Orlando, some point the week after PodFest, I will do another episode, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Another one after Washington Seminar. Again, you want to see me every week? Go over to youtube.com/NFB of PA. And you can learn about what's happening within the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. But for now, that's all I have. Please connect with me via email, iCantCUpodcast@gmail.com, iCantCUpodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach out via phone, 646-926-6350. You've got up to 3 minutes to leave your name and town, plus your question, comment, whatever you've got. I'd love to hear from you. Again, 646-926-6350. on the socials at David Benj, most everywhere except for TikTok, iCantCU podcast. I might have two videos up there. I'd like to do more of that too, but I don't know where all this time is coming. I mentioned before that I am doing the Business Enterprise program that has started. I will have a video out probably sometime right after I get back from PodFest. That will be a lot shorter and only specifically on the Business Enterprise program and what I've done so far. I do appreciate you joining me for this episode of iCantCU. It's episode 294. So show notes over on the website, iCantCU.com/294. iCantCU sounds like a whole sentence, but it's only 7 characters long. ICANT, capital C, capital U.com/294, numerically speaking. Find the show notes over there. Again, thanks for watching. I hope it's a spectacular 2026 for you and your family. Be well, stay safe, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Take care.
Thank you for joining David on this episode of iCantCU. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Like and comment on this episode on YouTube.